Joining us for more on this, Dr. Rebecca Grant, Senior Fellow at the Lexington Institute. You just heard that report from Lucas, Dr. Grant. Xi Jinping gets the red carpet and a state dinner in Lima, Peru. Joe Biden gets the back row in the group photo. What's going on?
Okay, well, I hope Xi Jinping enjoys this while he can at the APEC meeting. And remember, he brought about 400 Chinese businessmen to cut some more deals in Peru. Same thing's going to happen at the G20 next week. China and Brazil are thick as thieves, working some currency issues. But look, when President Trump takes office, this is all going to change. You're going to see Trump resurgent, not withdrawing, but leading on the world stage. And he is going to have a lot of competition for Xi Jinping.
Well, some say that exactly the opposite is going to happen. That President Trump, incoming President Trump, has been talking about tariffs, and that is going to reduce U.S. global influence. You see it differently.
Oh, the tariffs are coming for sure, but that is going to be part of Trump's attempt to reset a number of, let's call them, foreign policy situations. And he's very clear about wanting to protect American industries and to continue that we have the world's #1 economy. China tariffs are a big part of that. We'll see what actually happens between tariffs and negotiating points. But this idea that Trump is somehow going to pull back, I think, is just all wrong, and we're starting to see some evidence of that already. Yes, it's America first, but that still means dealing with allies and fending off that severe Chinese challenge to the Western Hemisphere.
Well, one of the things that China has done in Peru is build this mega port that they think is going to, allow them to ship, goods from many of the Latin American countries all over the world. How do you assess their success at that, and what's going to be the effect?
Oh, they're very good at building ports and infrastructure. They also have a really enormous global fishing fleet that's very active down there. And John, they own and have built ports around the world, Greece, Pakistan, you name it. And so this is a serious incursion through Belt and Road infrastructure projects, trying to gain resources, potentially also gain ports that could maybe be used for military access, and just in every way to push back against American power and push Chinese interests here in South America and in Central America. It's been going on for a while, and I think Secretary of State Rubio, if he gets confirmed, and President Trump are really going to fight fire with fire by using U.S. government and private investment in South America, Africa too, so that we protect our strategic and trade interests. It's going to be a very active piece of Trump's foreign policy.
More on Rubio in just a second, but we just had video up of that giant Chinese container ship in that port in Chancay, Peru, that the Chinese have built. The fishing boats there, the fishermen, are very angry. They say it has ruined their fishing. You can see some of those sort of rudimentary fishing boats, the little wooden ones, and then that gigantic Chinese cargo ship. They are angry at their own government for failing to protect their fishing grounds there.
Exactly. They had to dredge to get the hull depth for the container ship. And this is what's so tragic about China. They cut a deal with the government. It sounds good. But China doesn't care at all about the people of Peru or about the other fishermen there. And China's terrible violators of international fishing. They really scarf up the world resources. So, on so many grounds, this is going to have to be a battle that America gets pretty involved in, is fighting China's infrastructure incursions around the world.
One of the things the incoming Trump administration is going to have to handle, or juggle maybe, is Russia's adventurism in Ukraine, along with China, along with North Korea and Iran. The Secretary of State nominee, Senator Marco Rubio, had this to say back in September.
I'm not on Russia's side, but unfortunately the reality of it is that the way the war in Ukraine is going to end is with a negotiated settlement. And I want, and we want, and I believe Donald Trump wants, for Ukraine to have more leverage in that negotiation.
So obviously the Russia-Ukraine war, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, is going to be front and center for the Trump administration, and Marco Rubio, assuming he gets confirmed, is going to have a big role to play in that.
It's so interesting that Senator Rubio refers to leverage. because I think as much as we know that President-elect Trump is really horrified about the Ukraine war, about the losses, and Trump believes, he's going to get in there with Putin, and he has the confidence to negotiate with him. But job number one is to keep Ukraine's leverage. So I expect Trump to continue military support. Let's keep Ukraine strong. They are putting up a very active defense along their 800-mile front. And then Ukraine's long-term security and deterring Russia in Europe is so important. The Ukraine war, it could end tomorrow. We still are looking at deterring Russian aggression for many, many years to come. So they're going to have to come to something that makes Ukraine economically viable, but also ensures Ukraine's security going forward. So interesting that Chancellor Scholz has talked with Putin after he talked with Trump. And I think we're already starting to see some high-level phone calls going on as Trump starts to tackle the problem of Ukraine.
We have just a short few seconds left, but Ukraine is rich in resources. Russia wants them, and China wants them as well.
Ukraine has rare earth minerals. We have got to keep China out of there, and we've got to chip away at Russia and China's alliance. Trump doesn't like it. It's dangerous for the world. Both Russia and China are guilty in Ukraine.
Dr. Rebecca Grant, good to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.